Hello again, everyone, and thank you for joining us on our weekly Watch Party Wednesday. I'm Lee Gordon, coming to you live from Chicago, home of Brunswick, where we are pleased to welcome our incredible Freedom Boat Club owners and members from around the world. And as we head into Labor Day this coming weekend, we are truly humbled and proud to present our very own Senior Chief Petty Officer Andy Sutter, owner of Freedom Boat Club of Hampton Roads and a 26-year U.S. Navy veteran. Andy, how are you guys doing?
Oh, man, I'm awesome. Thanks for having me on today. I want to also mention we have a co-owner, David Gibb, as well. So I know I get the praise, but I wanted to make sure we give a shout out to David. Well,
that's great. Andy, I know we always talk about our first question when we talk with anybody. We do an icebreaker. We talk about the Freedom Tunes Spotify playlist. And I know you've been an incredible member of the military, and we want to thank all of our incredible veteran owners. But I learned something about you recently as we do our research, and Angela does a great job of finding those little nuggets. So in addition to 26 years in the Navy and driving hovercrafts and launching multiple Freedom Boat Club destinations, I heard you were a rock band owner in your spare time, managing a rock band. Before we get into your music, just how in the world do you go from Navy to rock band, or does it all merge together?
So we were in Jordan. We were in Aqaba, Jordan, on deployment, 2005, I believe. And my buddy Cole was a singer, and we put a band together on board the USS Ashland. We were in Port Jordan. We had sent the Marines off to go do it's a unilateral, multinational thing where we get together and we hang out together. Basically, they're out doing drills and the sailors are on the ship drinking beer on the pier. We met another band from a different ship called the USS Kearsarge, and we had a battle of the bands. We were having some drinks during that night. Ironically, the ship became under a terrorist attack. The 122 millimeter rocket went past our ship, hit the building next to us, blew up, killed a Jordanian officer. We all freaked out. The ship was getting underway. We had to get the band equipment. It was in the Navy Times. I had to call my wife, the whole thing. Coming home from that, the band, when they had met, they said, hey, let's put this band together and we need a manager. Well, they tasked me to manage the band. So I used that story that I just told you and the talented band that we had. We entered local here in Hampton Roads Battle of the Band contest. We won. We won again. We shot a music video, and then that turned into a couple years of running this band. We opened up for Motley Crue on a Friday night. We opened up for Creed on a Saturday night at the Virginia Beach Amphitheater. It was fantastic. So it was kind of crazy.
So this isn't a garage band. I mean, you guys are legit.
Hell no, Lee. We were too legit to quit, man.
Right. Let's not get crazy, right? So we do have a fun surprise for you. We added your band's Fall With Me song to the Freedom Salute playlist on our Taste of Freedom Tunes Spotify channel. So if you take your music aside, when you're out on the water and you're having a great time, what does Fall With Me mean to you when you're out in the water and other people are hearing? And just talk a little bit about your time in the military and just kind of how that all came about.
So that song really, when Cole wrote that song, that really is about the sacrifices that we go through as military, as people. I've a real good buddy of mine was killed by a roadside bomb. That veterans and suicides, 22 a day, veteran suicides every single day. So the sacrifices that we make daily, not just the military member, but the family. That's what that song's about. It's the daily grind, and it's what we go through as families, and we lose loved ones. So if you watch the video, you listen to the song, that's really what that means to me as a military community where we live here in Hampton Roads. Everything that we go through, we're just a little tougher, I would like to say, than a lot of people. I mean, I came home in 2003. We had to go back to Iraq, and I came home, and my wife was laying on the couch, and she said, "What's wrong?" And I said, "I'm leaving to go to Iraq." And she said, "When?" And I said, "I'm leaving in 3 days." And not a lot of people have to go through that, but us military people do, and that's what that song means to me.
That's great. And again, thank you for everything that you do. And I know this is, you're not the first. Both your father and grandfather were in the Navy. So what drew, I'm in the Army rather. So what drew you to the Navy?
I mean, they were, you know, my godfather. I was in upstate New York. I mean, I was pumping gas in the New York State Thruway, and I had some friends of mine, and they said, "What are you going to do with your life?" And I kind of did this. And they said, "You know, your godfather was in the Navy. Have you thought about going into the Navy?" So it's 1988, upstate New York. It's February. It's cold as heck. And I went over to his house, and he said, "You know, the Navy is going to give you 3 meals and health care and this and that, and you're going to get paid." And I said, "Sign me up." But I've had a great career, been here in Hampton Roads the whole time, and it's pretty neat. So
No, that's great. And I heard, so at the age of 19, you joined the Navy, you crossed the bridge, the naval station in Norfolk, the largest naval base in the world. Why is that so significant now? And certainly it plays a role into your Freedom Boat Club world as well.
I'm on the same waterway. I mean, well, any waterway you can get to the naval base, but I'm right on the Elizabeth River. The Berkeley Bridge in downtown Norfolk, which I can actually see from where we're recording this right now. When I was a 19-year-old kid, I came across that bridge and I went to my first ship. So I came across the bridge. If you ever watched the TV, the movie with Charlie Sheen, Navy SEALs, where Charlie Sheen jumped off the bridge, It's the same damn bridge. Came across the bridge. My first ship was right there, the USS Claude V. Ricketts, DDG-5. It was a 1962 Vietnam-era destroyer. That was my first ship. Well, now, as I look out the window right here, that's where I started my first ship naval career. When I take people out, I can go see the Wisconsin Battle Group. So it's all full circle for me. 19-year-old kid, business owner, right here on the same waterways. Man, it's awesome.
That's great. No, so now your first deployment is 1991. We're fast forwarding a little bit in your career aboard the U.S. Biddle. And I've learned it's your job to make sure that no enemies follow the American crews back to after the bombing run. So how do you even, walk us through that? I mean, we sometimes complain about our day jobs or our life or taking out the garbage this morning, but here you are doing things that literally put your life in jeopardy and save all of ours on a daily basis.
So my rating on board the ship was called an operations specialist. It was the ship's job, not just mine, but everybody on there. So during the war in 1991, when we started the ground war, all of the airplanes took off. We were in the Northern Red Sea, the ship that I was on. We had 110 nautical mile extended range missiles, and our job was the Northern Picket Ship. The ship's job was to identify the friendly aircraft that left the aircraft carriers down in the Southern Red Sea, and as they left the Red Sea, they would do their bombing runs and they would come back. They would come back 30 to 40 miles away from our ship, and we would check all of their identification, friend or foe, and to make sure that they weren't getting trailed by any enemy combatant aircraft. And so what we did is we identified them, and they had a certain procedure they had to go through. And if it was if they didn't identify right, then we had things to do. Or if the enemies were behind them, we'd shoot them down. It's war. You don't send the Boy Scouts to war. You fight with, you go to war with who you got.
Right. No. So during your time in the Navy, I understand you flew Navy hovercrafts off the coast of Iran and Kuwait, no channel markers, no buoys, just your night vision and goggles. This pressure obviously makes me think that, well, running a Freedom Boat Club franchise has to be easy in comparison, but I know it's not. But how have those type of experiences and just being able to literally pivot and manage and, deal with the unexpected prepared you for things that you do on a daily basis today?
That mission, my buddy and I were selected as the navigator. So I was the navigator on board that hovercraft. We left the USS Ashland at night. We went up to I think it's called the it's KAA, Qum-e-Aba waterway in Iraq. It's off of the Iraqi oil terminals. And we flew a mission at night to see if we could get up to Qasr, where Saddam Hussein had his private yacht. We did it at night under the cover of darkness with military special forces to see if we could actually do it. And there's my danger areas. I have a chart at my house. I showed my wife, and she goes, I don't care to see that again. But we flew up there at night to see if it could get done, and that's what we did. How does that prepare me to run a Freedom Boat Club franchise? I think anything that you've done in the military can translate. I mean, when I retired, I ran a debt of seven hovercraft, 60 people, millions of dollars worth of equipment, everything that you have to do. That's a tremendous amount of stress. You have clients that may not be happy with your boats, or a boat broke down and somebody's family's down there, and you got to deal with it. And I think all of the things that you have gone through. Listen, when you come home and tell your wife you're leaving to go to Iraq in 3 days, there's not a whole lot you can't deal with. So, I mean, listen, okay, we might be inconvenienced once or twice in our life, but nothing that we're doing here, it just pales in comparison to some of the other stuff. So.
No, that's great. And I know you like to hire veterans, and you like to hire those who have served as well at Freedom Boat Club. And I know they're all appreciative, as are we. So let's talk about the boat club. And, and as the largest club in the world, Freedom is the #1 social club for boaters. So we know you have quite the social network in Norfolk. And as you mentioned, it is a military town. There's also the college there as well. But, post-COVID, when the world opens up, and I know you guys are out on the water as well, but what are some of the member socials that you're looking forward to getting back and going with your crew?
Well, our membership director, our event, Olivia, we are going to do a women's boating night where it's women only. We bring our captains in, and what we do is we teach them how to do docking without their husbands being here. So typically the husbands do the driving. So we're just focused on the ladies, and it's a ladies only event. So that's one of them that we have that we'll do. We also offer some of the members some sunset boat rides where the captains will do the sunset, and then we'll bring the boats back and we'll do something here on the dock. We have to ease back into it. Fortunately, the space that we have here at Tidewater Yacht in Portsmouth, we have a very large dock, so we can have some gatherings where we still keep our social distance and wear our masks. So those are a couple of the things that we're planning on for when the world gets back to the new normal.
Right. Well, that's good. So Freedom Boat Club is, almost 240 locations at this point around the world. Our members truly do have the ultimate freedom travel pass. So, Andy, when your members come to visit you in Norfolk, Virginia, what type of military icons can they discover on the water?
Well, this is another thing that I'm going to give more credit to Olivia. Olivia put together our little chartlets, and she got on the boat with one of our captains and said, listen, take me to some cool stuff. And she picked out the locations, but really right across the water is the USS Wisconsin, which that was the first battle group that I was in when I left to go to Iraq. So we tell a little story. I've worked with the Portsmouth, literally where I'm sitting right now, during the American Revolutionary War. You can imagine 7,000 British troops boarding ships, and they left from right here, and they went up the waterway to Yorktown. This is where it started, right here in Portsmouth, Virginia. We've got the Naval Hospital right here. We have the Battle of the Monitor and Merrimack, the ironclad ships from the Civil War. We have Norfolk, Virginia. You can actually see where the mayor of Norfolk, Virginia, surrendered the city to Ulysses S. Grant. You can see that from the waterway here. We have the world's largest naval station. We have naval base tours. We have, it's endless. You can go to Fort Wool. You can go to Fort Monroe. Just the history here is crazy. And I work with Portsmouth Economic Development. I'm sorry, not Economic Development, Travel and Tourism Department. And we have all of this information here. So when reciprocals come here and they say, hey, where's a cool place to go? We train the dock staff, and they know where to send these people so they can see these cool landmarks, and we get great feedback from our reciprocal members. So It's that whole Navy, man. It's
right.
Attention to detail, honor, courage, and commitment. It's all that stuff. I mean, we incorporate it all right here at Freedom Boat Club.
That's fantastic. And I know we've got some great video for it. So without further ado, please enjoy an exclusive look at Senior Chief Petty Officer Andy Sutter's 26-plus year history with the Navy and his Fall With Me music video, now available on our Freedom Salute playlist on Spotify.
My grandfather was in the Army. My dad was in the Army. I joined the Navy.
He laughs, but that decision to join the Navy in 1988 changed the course of Andy Sutter's life. At 19, he made the trip to Naval Station Norfolk, the largest naval base in the world. This retired U.S. Navy senior chief had no idea when he started his military career the challenges and accomplishments that awaited him.
You know, when we talk about it and we talk about the history, I still get choked up a little bit about it.
His first deployment was in 1991 aboard the USS Biddle, part of the historic Wisconsin Battle Group.
The Wisconsin, this launcher here, one of these launchers right here up at the top, were one of the first launchers to launch a Tomahawk missile into Iraq during the Persian Gulf War.
One of Andy's jobs while on the Biddle, make sure no enemies followed American crews back after bombing runs.
We sat there because our extended range missiles could shoot down enemy Klingons that were coming back, chasing our guys back to the ships.
Over the years, Andy was deployed multiple times.
Going to Iraq almost got to the point where it was second nature.
His one constant? Janet, his wife.
My wife is amazing. You can't do this job without having a solid foundation.
While his family life was solid, his career path was about to change.
So I put a request in to go to Navy hovercrafts, and I did Navy hovercrafts for 14 years.
While flying Navy hovercraft, Andy completed the Thunder Valley Patrol.
It was the first time that Navy hovercraft were used to protect the Iraqi oil terminals.
He also took on a mission in an area called Qasr to test if the hovercraft could make it through tight waterways. He followed this map showing mine danger areas.
That was a very trying time. You're flying off the coast of Iran and Kuwait with another hovercraft in tandem. No channel markers, no buoys. You're on night vision goggles.
The stressful mission was a success. In 2005, Andy's career took him to Jordan on board the USS Ashland.
I woke up the next morning and I heard what sounded like a big, huge trash can, a dumpster, getting dumped onto the ground.
He quickly learned that wasn't a dumpster. It was a rocket.
You know, they were pulling the Kearsarge off, and you could see right where it hit the warehouse. And we didn't know what the heck was going on, except for we had just came under this attack.
Andy says all of the training they did paid off.
You just have to react. You can't think. You just have to react.
A Jordanian officer died in the attack, but no American lives were lost. All on board the Ashland received the Combat Action Ribbon for their response that day. In May of 2014, U.S. Navy Senior Chief Andy Sutter retired. In his civilian life, he owns the Freedom Boat Club based in Portsmouth. This once lost teenager found his calling in the Navy, and now, as a successful businessman, he makes a living on the very waters where he once trained.
It's crazy. I mean, I look out every single day and go, that's where I started my career at.
For Veterans Voices, I'm Katie Collette.